this coming Saturday, we have a book release event for Los Escritores de Nuevo Sol. It's I think their fourth annual anthology of writers who are part of that group. And then on the following Monday, Mary Mackey will be here with releasing her new collection of poems. She wants to do this as a fundraiser for the Poetry Center. So what's going to happen that night is that all of the sales of her new book will go to the Poetry Center. And then she said she was looking around in her basement and found, like anybody who's published a few books has these boxes that just you can't, there's a point where the book stops selling and there's a box of them, right? And she found that she has a lot of books, so she has a lot of these boxes, and she's going to bring those in. So anything that, is it weird spiking thing? Is that me or is it? Okay, so any of those, there will be first editions, which you'll sign, and all of those will sell for $15 a pop. So it's a nice, collectible Christmas gift, whatever you want. Yeah.
Next Monday?
It's a full month.
Next Monday?
Next Monday, the 22nd. Yeah, it's Mary. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so tonight, what did we figure out? So, you go first, right? Okay. So I'll just introduce you guys as you come up to read. Okay, I don't want her to hear this. So, she's an introvert, right? So we want you to know that up front and do everything you can to make her feel welcome and comfortable here. It's between me and you. Half the poets in this room are introverts, so, or all of them to some degree, right? Okay. Jessica Cohn is it Cohn or Cohn?
Like ice cream.
Like a cone. Okay. Jessica Cohn. But Jessica Cohn could be like your alter ego, right? you could run for president with a name like that. Yeah. Jessica Cohn is an author and editor specializing in educational materials. Born in Michigan, she is the daughter of teachers. Her original intention was to teach language arts. While exploring the field of communication, she moved from the classroom to newsrooms to educational publishing. She earned degrees in English from the University of Michigan and written communications from National Louis University. She's written news and feature articles, advertising scripts and print promotions, and has authored dozens of educational nonfiction books. Her works appear in Comstock, Crab Creek Review, Tar River Poetry, the Journal of Undiscovered Poets at Rattle, Raven's Perch, and many other places. Her new book, which is for sale here tonight, and which is in part why we started talking about her coming here, is called Gratitude Diary from Main Street Rag, and this year it won the Great Northwest Book Poetry Festival Prize, or I reversed a couple words there, but that's the prize that you got. So please welcome Jessica Cohn to the
Hello. So, I didn't know what I was going to read exactly, and I know that you're more of a performer, and I'm reading from a book, people. So I figured I would start with the poem I wrote, trying to explain, I don't know, to myself and to other people, why I started to write poetry. So we moved to California, and all of a sudden I started writing poetry. It's called Cheating on Henry Miller.
quick adjustment for you here because it's different. So,
I'm good.
is that in your way?
Nope.
Is it okay?
No, good.
Better?
I remember, like yesterday, I'm flushed, reading verse in the cabin where Henry Miller stayed. I want to live inside all the Robinson Jeffers books at Henry Miller's place. flying with raptors, communing with night herons, but gets so distracted by our roadside world, its flickering images, its watch cats, and plumbing. The place is called Henry Miller Memorial Library, though it's more like a bookstore. It smells like the forest floor. There's a house cat so serious, would just as soon feed on a fallen body, and not in the good way. I shudder to think what Henry Miller would say, my standing next to the dark door of his bathroom, not reading Henry Miller books. How grim writers can be. If the dead could talk, and they do, they'd tell you. Robinson Jeffers is a gorgeous man, sculpted by salt and setting sun. The man has an instinct for a line. It's supernatural, like a default to religion. Civilization is a transient sickness, he hisses, and I feel a burrowing owl in me. Henry Miller lived in Big Sur with 2 of 5 wives. Robinson Jeffers built a place just north of his, and just say it sigh with me, Carmel by the sea. So many creatures drawn by the cold acoustics of this unedited shoreline. Once, great communities of abalone would cling to the rocks of Carmel. Robinson Jeffers climbs those cliffside stills, mantis and non-man, to bring their shells home to his Una. You can crack open that haunted sound like money, all those ears of the sea left to dry along their garden path. The man is a gorgeous mantis, erecting a rock tile for her melodeon, their dead child, his body of work. White ash rises from communal fires on sands below. You can fold your hands around a page. You can ride it like wings. So Gratitude Diary was a poem, Gratitude Diary, before it was a book. And until I wrote the poem, I wasn't quite sure I was going to have a book. But Gratitude Diary is a 10-part poem that's all about how hard it can be to keep oneself together sometimes. So it's like 10 parts, and it's like when you do that thing where you write down something you're thankful for each day, or you at least try to think about it because you're having a hard time holding on. And you go back to some of those things that you do to hold yourself together. So it starts like that, you know, like counting things that I'm thankful for. And the poem goes through, and it's pretty bad in the start. It's pretty bleak. But by the end, the speaker has figured things out again and is feeling strong and ready to, you know, turn back and give to people again. So the poems then, you know, I took the 10 parts and I divided my poems into like, oh, these are really grim and these are toward the end. It's like I'm illustrating the things one does to get strong and show that they're working. So I figured, okay, I'll just read for you guys, like from the start, from the middle, and from the end, and hopefully that'll give you a sense. Because, you know, when you look at Gratitude Diary, you might think this is like going to be like Good Housekeeping, something of another. But it's not. It definitely is not. And let's see. We'll start with something bad. Let's see. Body. I carry small wounds in junk drawers of the body. Within hallways of the cranium, limbs, trunk, pain can pace. In stabbing and in warming, the body speaks, it minds. I heard from a healer that attaching a name to pain invites breakthrough. I won't name names. I still count on my fingers. More than 50 years since that winter I took to sketching geometric torsos in a gallery in Ann Arbor. Charcoals mark his statue spoke in traumatized bronze, the hard press of a negative space. I could see how a body could carve itself up. In early still lifes, a hint of the mastery to come. In still life, we yield the floor to someone's controlled tabletop, its books and apples, its pomegranates, vessels of shapeless lust. Now and then, an extinguished candle, a drooping rose, an emptied wine glass. In vanitas, rancid flower water. I am no art historian, wrote a certain earned points of the genre, how we turn from religious to decorative arts. In still life, I see the time before or after ravaging, the mania. You may feel the need to argue this point. Go ahead, you're welcome. There are so many ways we do not listen to one another. I cannot all these years later resurrect the flickering of the loose leaf life, the wildflowers, the girl from before. If I could go to her there on the bench of the gallery, I might whisper, she's going to be okay. If not, how long it takes. I get confused about lifetimes. Came so soon to the emptied rooms, no longer recognize contents of the closets. I won't name names, but they clamp the heart. They declared me vacant, left me in long fall, down stairwells of the body. So, we don't stay and all that stuff. There's grief there's the regular grief of, dead parents, and there's stuff about the health of the planet, of course. I don't know, it goes on, but the funny thing about this book was I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but it ended up, it also covers the pandemic. It covers the first Trump administration. This poem here, I'm just going to read it to see how it feels. It was written the week of lockdown. I was working as a reporter at the court, and I was in the court parking lot, and the town was emptying, and I wrote this poem. It's called Spring. It was the spring when dry goods held our fascination. We bottled gold hand-pumped mucus. Toilet paper became currency. The cut of ethyl alcohol sharpened elbows. We took our contact in fluid ounces, returned to fire escapes, back steps, the opposite side of the street. The public square emptied, and the crosswalks followed. Masters of airports called the airplanes home. The cars stopped moving from their spaces alongside streets. Certain mornings a bird might appear, its tweeting out of place. A day would pass, its tally of losses. People died, first in abstraction, and then there was a name we knew. And the geography of the world came into focus. There was a fat man in charge, or so they said, and he named the virus China. But the tankers and the cargo trucks and the thin layers of hyper-clean water under every screen called it home. Some of us bought bullets, some of us bought stock, trading on the corpses and their deep, deep pockets. But there were many more who saw beauty in far-sighted blue sea, hemming in our patchwork boundaries. It was a spring. Hope was a shell game. There were winners even then. Yeah, there are some political poems in here. Here's toward the back when I'm starting to feel, when the speaker is starting to feel better. This one is called Nearly Human. It's Starts with one of those things where you pull something from a book and it says, "Of course the Neverlands vary a great deal." That's a quote from J.M. Barrie. Nearly human. A sound turned inside out. The window rattled. A bird tried to fly through the living room glass, like the wish so fleeting that I could have done something. As custodian of the outward view, I took a look outside. No body to be found. Beyond, imprint on a sheet glass, a smudge of shadow glazed for eyes. It's strange what a window will and won't accommodate. You can stand at a window, pretend that what you see was placed there for you, in the way a ghost might be proof of a body. Birds produce powder to waterproof their feathers, a dust fine enough to appear on glass, a fact to be found in the body of science, as can death, changing as we learn more. It was a window that snapped Peter's shadow off when he was able to sew it back to his foot, though I can't be trusted to know the book from the stage show. I tire of unreliable narrators, yet so often am one. In this rendition of the story, those who swim in air are saved. The others grow up, and we all know what that means. Junk mail, window washing, death imagined until it's not. I am unsupervised now. Spent a lifetime dragging lifetimes into the steady hum of a machine with pedals, attaching buttons to fingers by accident. I'm no puppet master, just another character, working in low light, having the folds, tacking the extra into something to be passed down, something like make-believe. Once upon a time, a bird hit the window. It's so sudden when it happens. But if you hold your beating heart in the stillness before what will be, you can let the story wheel change, the ending. If you hear rattling, you may think, "Peter, Peter, is that you?" Though you know, you're Peter and you're Wendy. You have left the window open. Your shadow's gone. That's getting to be enough. Let's see. I'm going to read a new one, just because I'm feeling feisty. And besides, I have to kind of practice reading it. It's going to be in a thing that I have to. Okay. So maybe you guys can help me. You all get up and read poems. Maybe you can help me figure out how to read this. So I took the DEI words, the ones that are being scrubbed, that list. So some of the words are in this poem, and it's one thing to read. It'll be printed in the Indianapolis Review. The title is crossed through, and the words that are taken from the list are in bold. So I was trying to think, okay, what can I do when I'm reading? And I was like, well, maybe I'll just hit whenever it's a word that still help me figure out if this is going to work. Okay. Okay, this is called Systematically, and it starts again with one of those, you pull it from something. And a growing list of words and materials is being scrubbed from government, 350 plus words encompassing even desirable goals like safe drinking water. This is taken from Pen America. And here's the poem. We learn a word a day until middle age. Then words go missing, like reading glasses, old addresses, the name of that actor. We lose words as vowels shift, hard sounds fall from use. Our Twitter light becomes twilight, lost words seemingly replaced, as many more become commonplace given slang, sociocultural subcultures, the multicultural resistance to power. You know a keeper when you hear it, like heap-eating. He said it after she said it, and he got credit. Like cap, like no cap. Though there's still nothing adequate to call a socially networked lie rolling out on a calendar plan. No one word big enough for the lying of the biggest liars, the lying liars who lie, though political comes close. Lying is art, sport, performance, criminal enterprise. Liars produce more words, ask more questions, refer to the senses, the better to taste your blood. Liars are careful with pronouns to orient blame outward. She still approved. He, but not they. Them. No longer a female or woman. One may still be termed a man, if not Native American, advocate, elderly, victim. I know. You are more than your descriptors, as am I, speaker of poem, breaking the wall. When they came for my words, the doorbell stayed stuck like an alarm, and I wanted an all-inclusive term to convey this feeling when machines get set to delete. Diversity, inclusion, equity. When some form of we searches to destroy cultural sensitivity by command, we live at a loss for words quite naturally need no government intervention. Yet here we are, trashing terms, some going back to Middle English, Middle Ages. So be it. Goody I am. All the lost words for women, Magdalena, Pythoness, Quidnick, scold. I am no gender. In this language fluid world, we are all facets of all sexes, swains and varlets all. Anyway, thank you so much.